Hi everyone, I really appreciate you watching this live tonight. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am so excited to have this opportunity to interview someone named Mr. Carlos Morgan. I'm proud to say that I have been friends with my next guest since 2007, maybe even earlier. I have been a fan of our guest, Mr. Carlos Morgan, since I heard Baby Come On, which came out in 1997. Let me say that again. I've been a fan of our next guest since 1997 when I listened to Baby Come On. I'm not sure if my guest Carlos knows this or not, but I was a dancer on Electric Circus, a TV show which was very popular on a TV channel called Much Music in Canada. And that song was always a hot song that we danced to on Electric Circus. I don't know if Carlos knows that, but maybe he knows now. I also had the chance to do a photo shoot of Carlos Morgan and had the honor of booking him at a local holiday event. So I want to show you a picture of a photo shoot. Here's a photo that I did of Carlos. This is Carlos. This is a photo I took of Carlos. What a good looking guy, yeah? Say it, shout it in the comments. Good looking guy, right? So I did a photo shoot of Mr. Carlos Morgan, early 1990, maybe in the early 2007 we did this photo shoot. All right. And then here's a photo of Mr. Carlos Morgan and I here when we did the holiday event, right? So I just wanted to set the scene a little bit. So let me read out his bio. Mr. Carlos Morgan, he is most noted for winning the Juno Award for Best R&B Soul Recording at the Juno Awards of 1997 for his album Feeling Alright. Soul rock music recording artist Carlos Morgan, a multi-award-winning talented singer, songwriter, vocalist, and producer, is poised to break out on a global level. Feeling Alright, Morgan's debut album, showcased the diversity of Morgan's singing style with seductive ballads like Forever For You and When Two Became One, to the upbeat R&B tracks Give It To You and Baby Come On. Originally recorded as an independent release for D-Tone Records, it quickly became one of Canada's hottest selling independent albums. Feeling Alright topped the charts at 3 on the record's independent charts after 2 weeks of re-releasing. Morgan's sophomore CD, The Compilation, which was released on his own label, showcases not only Morgan's vocal diversity, but also his maturity as a singer, songwriter, vocalist, and producer. Should we bring out Mr. Morgan? I will be asking Carlos some questions about how he started, highlights of his career, his thoughts on the music industry, and what's next for Carlos. I'm also going to be playing a few snippets of some of his songs throughout the interview. So should we bring out Mr. Carlos Morgan? Should we bring him out? All right, so we gave him an invite. We're going to bring him in.
Okay.
Just get the camera on, Mr. Morgan.
Let me see if I can find it. Camera. Where is it? You connect using audio only. That's weird. Wait. Okay. All right.
There's my good-looking friend.
Oh my goodness, man. I am, first I want to say, man, I love your energy. You had me laughing and smiling. And love the energy, the suit, the shirt, the tie, the way you're engaging with your audience. It's absolutely wonderful, man. Like, I'd love to co-host with you if ever opportunity comes up to co-host one of your shows with you, man, because you're brilliant. And man, thank you so much for having me tonight, and for all your guests or everybody that's here, man. It's good to be here, and looking forward to talking and sharing and laughing and bringing vibes about good music and good times and friendship and all that, you know?
I appreciate you saying this. And I told you when we spoke about doing this interview, this is going to be a very interactive interview. So I needed to make my outfit look good for our guests, and I wanted the audience to have a say in my attire to make sure that I look good for our honored guest.
Well, you look good. You look good. You look good, man.
But
I
should I
like
have
the.
wore the tie? Did you want the tie, Mr. Morgan?
No,
Or
that's good, man. The way that's all good, man. And you got the nice lighting in the background and the music and the vibes. Yeah, man. It's loving it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And that picture you showed of the one you took of me in 2007, I haven't, I haven't seen that picture. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, man. I'm like, man, I remember where that was, man. And that was a great day. That was a great photo shoot. I totally forgot about that picture. Oh my goodness. Love it.
but I'm sorry. I think I like this photo just as much. Look
Yeah,
at
that was a good one too. I was wearing the hat off, tilted off to the side, man. Yeah. That was when? That was 2013 or 14?
well, I mean, we're both in our 20s, so I'm not sure the right year.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it. I've been teasing this interview a long time.
Yes.
So, again, though, before we start, if you're not already following myself on TikTok, please take a quick moment to do so. While you're at it, make sure you give my honored guest, Mr. Carlos Morgan, a follow right now. There's 10 of us right here. Make sure you all give Mr. Morgan a follow. Be sure, let's keep this chat active. If we know how TikTok works, help us keep this live active by double tapping the screen. My goal is to get this to 50K by the end of this interview. All right,
Wow.
are you ready for some questions, Mr. Morgan?
Ready for him. Ready for him.
All right, let's start off right away with what is the earliest memory of singing or songwriting? You remember that?
Yeah, my earliest memory of singing was I started singing in church. I did my very first performance in church. I was the age of 8, and I sang a gospel hymn, a hymn called was Rock of Ages. That was the very first time I sang, and then 4 years later I joined a band. Um, the name of the band was called the Pape Avenue Brass Band, and we were 15 members, all guys. I was the youngest of the 15 and the only singer in the band. The band was primarily a brass band with a rhythm section, and then I'd be the singer. And we were part of a church, a Pentecostal church called um, the Church of God of Prophecy. So, and I was with them for 5 years. So that was my earliest, and singing in church, singing at home, singing at school. I was singing all the time.
Perfect. We're gonna, by the way, just to forewarn you, we're gonna go all over the place. This is gonna be like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's gonna go all over the place. It's not gonna go in a certain order, but we're gonna get there. I promise you, Mr. Morgan.
Okay.
And I call you Carlos. I just
Yeah, I
like
was
to
wondering
be
what you
extra
call me, Mr.
formal for
Morgan.
you. Winning a Juno Award is a huge accomplishment. How did that recognition shape your career and open doors in the music industry? And for those that are outside of Canada, I would say that the Juno is equivalent to, I guess, what a Grammy is. So
Correct.
it's Canada's highest honor.
Correct.
So winning a Juno Award, it is a huge accomplishment. How did that recognition shape your career and open doors in the music industry?
Um, well, I'll be very honest and frank. The Juno did open some doors for me, primarily and specifically only in Canada. At the same time, in my personal experience, and I think I could speak to this, I could speak to this of many other artists, especially in Black music in Canada. The Juno can only take you so far. You know, you think, in certain areas within the music industry and even outside the music industry, people will, will take you a little bit more seriously, or they'll listen to you a little more when you say, oh, this is a Juno Award-winning recording artist. But, in terms of really furthering one's career, again, the Grammy goes a long way. So although the Juno is equivalent to the American Grammy, and it's only equivalent because it's the highest achievement in recorded music in the music industry in Canada. That's the equivalency. But in terms of the notoriety or the respect level, the acknowledgement, it doesn't come close to a Grammy Award at all. So, you know, I'm grateful that I received it. And again, for the issue of how Black music in Canada is not, we can get into this conversation because I'd like to also educate your audience. But for the education, for Black music in Canada, the Juno, in my opinion, doesn't, again, it doesn't really hold a lot of weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who were your biggest musical inspirations growing up, and how do they continue to shape your sound today?
Well, when I was growing up, well, my father my father used to buy records all the time. Every week, growing up in our house, my father had a huge record collection. So the majority of records my father bought was reggae. My parents are both from Jamaica. I'm first generation, quote unquote, Canadian to my family. So my parents and my three older siblings are from Jamaica. And so my father used to buy a lot of reggae, but he also bought a lot of R&B. So my biggest influences was a cross range growing up was between Bob Marley, Nat King Cole, James Cleveland, and then a lot of Motown, Stevie Wonder, Michael, Stevie Wonder, not so much Michael and the Jackson Fives. We heard about the Jackson Fives, of course. But yeah, with Stevie Wonder, so those are our musical influences, in my primary age. And then when I got to 12, 13, or between the ages of 12 to 16, it was Michael Jackson all the way. I was dancing like him, singing like him. When I was a kid, my tone was very, very reminiscent of Michael. Very reminiscent of Michael. And I was even called Little Carlos Michael when I was a kid. And then as I got into my, early 20s, it shifted more to, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, Luther Vandross, which is one of my top 3 all-time favorite singers and biggest inspirations. Yeah.
How does your heritage or cultural background influence your music, and how important is it for you to represent that in your art?
Well, again, so R&B, reggae, gospel are still very relevant to me, and how I write and produce music. But again, as I've grown and lived this life and have heard various and many genres of music, when I write and produce music, my main focus or the basis of my music is R&B and gospel, but bringing in influences of hip hop, and reggae, and jazz, some country, a little bit of blues. So all those various genres of Black music. But I always tell people my music is R&B soul based with the various genres of music that are all founded from Black musicians and Black music.
Perfect. I'm going to play a snippet of one of your songs, and I want us to groove to it for about 30, 40 seconds, and I want you to comment about the song, okay?
Okay.
This is called Have a Little Faith, everyone.
the hardest part of living through this moment is the wreckage left behind. Going round in circles, every second hurts so much, there's nowhere left to hide. And all this pain I throw away, what was now? It takes a little faith to get back up. It takes a little heart to let you love yourself inside. It takes a little time to just let go. Open up your eyes and then you'll know. It'll be.
Carlos, I could play your music all day, but it'll be a 5-hour interview, Carlos. So have a little faith, which is available on wherever you get music, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Talk to me about that song.
So, when I was writing songs for my forthcoming album that I'll be releasing later this year, I wanted to include a singer-songwriter style of song. And so I reached out to a friend of mine that my former manager used to manage. And he was a part of a group. They were based out of Ottawa, and the name of the group was called Garrity. They were an indie rock band. And the lead singer of that band, his name is Northeastern. So I reached out to him and I said, I'm writing a song and I want it to go in a certain direction. I wanted to be a cross between singer-songwriter and country. So he told me he was going to be in Toronto for a few days because he lives in Ottawa. So he's going to be in Toronto for a few days. And he has a songwriting partner by the name of Roseanne Baker Thornley. So he told me when he's going to be in town. He's going to be writing with Roseanne at her house. So when I knew he was there, he was in town, I went to Roseanne's house. And first time I met Roseanne. And then, so they told me what their songwriting process was. And I presented the song I was thinking of, and the song that I was starting to write is called Long Hard Road. So I sang it for them, and they didn't really feel it. So I said, okay, well, let's start something from scratch. So we're just talking, and then they were asking me what's been going on in my life. So I told them of a situation that I was going through between 2013 to 2015. I was going through a very difficult time, and I started talking about what got me through, and they were asking me, well, what helped you get through those difficult times? And I shared them. I said, well, you know what? I don't subscribe to religion. I don't believe in religion, but I believe in the scriptures. I believe in Yahweh and Yeshua, or what people call Jesus Christ. And I believe in what the scripture teaches. So there are two scriptures in the Bible that talks about faith. So as I was talking about faith and the things that I turned to, North picked up his guitar and he came up with those chords that starts the song. And then he came up with a few lyrics, and then we came up with the title, and Have a Little Faith. Because that's what I was talking about. I prayed a lot. I prayed to God and I asked God to help me through these difficult times. And so out of that conversation and just sharing my story, he, myself, and Roseanne wrote that song, Have a Little Faith, that same night. And so not having any correlation or connection to religion, but it's about we all go through trials and tribulations, hard times in life, and whatever people believe is what they turn to as faith, turning to that what they call or what they believe is faith to get them through those difficult moments, and that's what that song is about. And that's what inspired that song. It's my story, and then knowing that, well, everybody is going to have to, everybody is going to go through struggles, and then there's a scripture in the Bible that says in Matthew 17:20 that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, a small mustard seed, that you can overcome, that nothing will be impossible. And that's basically, succinctly, the Come Full Circle is what that song is about.
Thank you for that insight. And while you were giving that amazing description and behind the curtain, someone named Anna just let us know that she just downloaded that song on Spotify.
Thank you, Anna. Appreciate that. And you can see the music video. There's a music video. There's two music videos. There's an official and unofficial music video on YouTube. The official music video is I had an idea for the music video. So the director, his name is Chris Strikes, he's a friend of mine. He directed Have Real Faith and my Just J music videos. So if anybody wants to check out the music video on YouTube, the official music video you will see are two. It's a contemporary dance piece. So you'll see two dancers, and I'm in the background. It was shot at an old church on Bathurst in downtown Toronto. So we wrote the song and we released the song in 2017. But I'm actually going to be putting it on my album that I'm going to be releasing later this year. So yeah, because that particular song is going to tell the story of what my full album. It's going to be a part of the story. So yeah, but you check out the video. If you all do, I hope you all like it. And yeah, please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. So thank you.
If you're not already following myself on TikTok, please take a moment to do so. And while you're at it, make sure you give my guest, Carlos Morgan, a follow on TikTok as well. Yes, let's keep this chat below active.
Thank you.
We know how TikTok works. Help us keep this live active by double tapping the screen. Our goal is to get this live at 50K by the end of this interview. By the way, Mr. Carlos, we're at 12K already. Look at the top left. We've already had 12K amount of likes watching our interview. And clearly it's not because of my suit jacket, it's because of you.
I think it's more your suit jacket, man, and the shirt.
No. All right, stop.
I want to say thank you to Anna for downloading my song. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Anna.
Of course. What are your thoughts on current pop artists?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not okay. Well, pop artists that I know that we hear all the time, the Taylor Swift, the Katy Perry.
In general, because we're going to get more specific after. Just in general, what's your thoughts on pop music artists in general? We're going to get a little deeper a little bit later.
I personally don't enjoy a lot of the popular music that's out today. I personally don't enjoy a lot of what I hear. There'll be the odd song that I'll hear. I'm like, okay, this is good, but the majority of it really doesn't move me. I don't resonate with a lot of what I hear. I feel that even back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, where I heard pop music, and there was something about it that would resonate with me, even on a superficial level. Just like it has a feel-good vibe, and but now I don't know, maybe because I'm older and I'm more mature, and the way I hear music is a lot different, the way I feel music is a lot different. Maybe that could be the reason why. I could still listen to a pop song from the 80s or 90s and I'd be like, man, this feels good, but nowadays, if I'll name two artists. If I were to put a pop song by Chris Brown up against a pop song by Michael Jackson, I'm sorry. I think Chris Brown's an incredible performer, great voice, But musically, if I were going to put a pop song by Taylor Swift up against a pop song by Whitney Houston, I'm going with Whitney Houston because, like, I'm gonna feel more of I want to dance with somebody than Shake It Off. Like, but again, it's everybody. It's subjective, and everybody has their likes, and that's completely fine too. So,
What are your thoughts of the music industry as a whole?
uh,
Like, I'll just add to it. The way we consume music, the public supports the artists. I'll be honest, Carlos, I'll even combine four questions into a one here. Like, your thoughts of the music industry, the way that we consume music, your feelings about even just social media, whether it be, hearing your music on Spotify and Apple Music, just the way the music industry is as a whole.
well, I don't even know if there's a music industry anymore. Yeah, the music industry, in my opinion, is has gone has gone in a direction, and it's continuing to go. It's continuing to go in a direction or directions that just seems, in my personal opinion. Again, he and I grew up in an era where you can go to the record store, buy a full album, whether it was on vinyl or cassette or CD. Now, you got the album, you got the liner notes, you could see who wrote the songs, who produced the songs, who worked on the music, all this sort of thing. So that's completely changed. How music is consumed is completely changed. So I just think the music industry, and then let me finish my thought. So I think the music industry in that way, I find the only good thing about the music industry is that you can get directly to the consumer, right? But I find the politics, especially with, like, take Spotify example, artists don't make any royalties from Spotify. I don't know if people know that, but an artist makes 0.004 cents every time a song is streamed. So for me, you get like, I heard this a few years ago, recently, that take Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift gets more downloads than Beyonce. I think, I'm not quite sure, but the amount of streams that Beyonce and or Taylor Swift would get, like, almost in the billions, but yet they'll make like $10,000. Now maybe that'll change for Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift is like super, 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 and Beyonce, or the Beyonce and Taylor Swift, they are the super, super streaming artists. But an artist like myself and many of us, for me personally, I don't expect to make any money off of streaming. I put my music on Spotify for people to hear it. If they like it, yeah, they'll stream it, or more that they'll either download it, and then when I'm doing a concert, they'll come to my concerts, right? So for me, Spotify is, I just look at it, I've had to tell myself that I have to look at Spotify as a glorified, quote unquote, glorified way of getting people to hear my music, right? They could just go, yeah, you want to hear my music? Go to Spotify. But if you want to see me, and where I can do a concert and that I will make some royalties, if you will, that would be from coming to my shows, me selling merchandise, selling maybe my album or at the shows. That's where I'm going to make money from. So in that regard, that's the positive thing about, you can get direct connection to the consumer, the music buyers. But in terms of all the politics, I think it's gone way left. And it's worldwide. I can reach people around the world that I could never, in 20, 25, 30 years ago, I'd be like, okay, how do I get somebody in China to hear my music? That would be close to impossible. Now I can put it up online, but then you have social media marketing, and that's a whole other beast unto itself. right? So there's some a lot of positive, but there's also a lot of negative and not so. Yeah.
In early 2000, again, I'm dating myself. I had the opportunity of putting a dance team together at the Mississauga Waterfront Festival. And myself and my dance team, we were the opening act for a group called Jack Soul.
Right.
And I had an opportunity to talk to Hayden, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yes.
And we talked, and this was around the time of Napster.
Right. Oh my
And
God.
we we were all excited to be the opening dance team for Jack Soul.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you know the term white label, but it's basically an unofficial song, which basically is called white label because it doesn't have info on the vinyl. It's
Right.
called white label, right?
Mhm.
I know you know this, but for those that are watching, and it's like we had a white label version of a dance version of their song, and we were about to play it. And we, long story short, I had the opportunity to have a beverage with Hayden in his trailer behind the stage. And I got to talk to him as a fan about Napster, and he talked to me from an artist perspective about the pros and cons of Napster.
Mhm.
Because again, showing both of our ages, we remember the cassette single or
Mhm.
the CD single where you
Mhm.
buy the, if you just like one song maybe on the album,
Right.
well, the pro of Napster maybe was that maybe you didn't know about an artist, but you came across this song and you learned about a new artist. So I say all this to say, what are your thoughts of back then Napster or even Apple Music and Spotify in the argument of, yes, you're not making a lot, but maybe when they're playing another song, they come across a Carlos Morgan because or even now during this interview, as we've been talking, we have an example here. Anna heard you and I chatting and grabbed your song on Spotify, not just because I'm wearing a suit jacket and not just because of your charisma, but she heard your story talking about the song and grabbed your song on Spotify.
Yeah. Well, again, I almost forgot about Napster, but to me, Spotify is a bit like Napster, right? Because there was countless amount of music on Napster, and it was like a free site where people can rip music off. And there was a huge backlash against Napster because it was basically where artists' music is being uploaded and music is getting stolen. So we're spending you know you know to go into the studio. It's not cheap. You know, me personally, and I'm not exaggerating because the way that I produce music, I'm starting at anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 when I'm in the studio. That's my budget for one song. Now, if I'm hiring a producer, and now some producers are charging right now I'm working with a producer, he's charging me $2,500, okay, but then the $2,500 covers the musicians if there's going to be musicians, but then I'm also talking mastering and mixing. So, the price varies, but when you're an independent artist, so again, when you are an independent artist, so back in that time when the Napster was around, when artists are going in the studio and they're spending, you know, they're penny pinching, and they're even sacrifice. They're some artists, and I've done it myself, where even during the Napster days, where I would spend my rent money to go into the studio to make a song or to work on my album, and then to put it out there, and it's on Napster and it's getting ripped off. I'm like, how am I going to live? Right? That's how crazy I was about my music. Still am, but I'm a little smarter now that I'm older. But, so again, Napster was, where artists were getting ripped off. Now with Spotify, it's kind of the same thing, but yeah, you're making less than a penny. So it's to me kind of the same thing, right? But I think Spotify has been the marketing around Spotify has been it's being so accepted by everyone, Spotify, that a lot of artists don't really think about, or they do think about it, but again, it's like a necessary evil, if you will, right? So yeah, it's a hard grind, man. It's a hard grind.
Okay. It's a similar question, but just to wrap up this part of the segment, what are your feelings about being a musician on social media? I mean, right now you're on TikTok live with me. Like, you know, maybe years ago, I know you and I are friends, but let's pretend for a second I'm not a friend of yours. I'm just everyday person on TikTok reaching out to you wanting to do a TikTok interview.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, this is a different way of doing media. You're on TikTok,
right,
you're promoting. What
right.
are overall your feelings about being a musician right now? You're grinding. I mean, this is work for you. As much as you and I are friends, put that aside for a moment. This is still work for you. You're promoting. What's your feelings about social media being a musician right now?
Well, again, I think social media is very important. Um, I need I need a lot of help with social media. Like when I put out my second album, The Compilation, I was able to tour, not as much as I toured Feeling All Right. And then I thought, okay, when I put out my next album, and I'll talk about my next album in a little bit, I don't want I want it to be different. So, because I was trying to do the social media marketing myself, and then I come to realize it's like, okay, in order for me to get people to hear my music, how to build my TikTok or build my Instagram or build my Facebook or get people to join my SoundCloud or whatever my social media page is, I need to, how do I drive people? And there's, you know, as you know, there's countless amount of artists that are releasing music every day, all the time. So how do I get through all that, muck and mire and noise for people to get to my social media, and so it's very important. And that's what venue owners look at. That's what record labels look at. So if I'm going to tour and I want to get into venues or find a booking agent or a manager, the first thing they're going to ask is, what's your social media presence? So if I don't have, if you go on my Spotify page right now, I have less than 100 listeners. I probably have anywhere between 40 to 60 listeners and a few followers. So I'm like, okay, I need to get more people to my Spotify page and to follow my Spotify page. But how do I do that? Or how do I get people to, and then you gotta be active on social media all the time. So it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to write, be in the studio. So, do all these things and be active on social media. Plus, it's like, oh my goodness, it's like a full-time job. Then on top of being an artist. So social media is very important. And then when you're an independent artist and you have social media marketing teams out there, but again, when you're independent and you don't have the big budget, so it's like, okay, so these are things I think about all the time, right? And this is part of the reason why I'm not putting out music as consistently as I should, because I don't want to put a song out just for the sake of putting it out there. I did that a few times. Where I'm like, okay, I'll just put the song out and see what happens. But many people that I speak to that work in social media say that is not a smart thing to do. If you're going to do that, do it in a way that the social media sphere will be like, even if they've never heard of Carlos Morgan, put it out in a way that people will be like, okay, I'm putting out a single. I'm putting out, whatever the song is, it's, there's no really huge social media marketing push behind it, but to get enough traction for people to want to check it out. I've done that, and still it's like, okay, this is not working either. So social media is extremely important. So I know for me moving forward, I'm going to have to find a social media marketing team, right? Because I want to break into the US market. I want to break into the European market. Like, I'm known in the States. I'm more known in Europe. But I'm not known enough that people would be like, okay, who is this guy that I want to listen to, this dude? And you will find, and you go outside, you go outside your door and sneeze, and you'll find a guy that sings like Carlos Morgan. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to stand out, and I know I need that social media support. So social media for as an artist, it's extremely important.
I'm blessed to have a lot of talented, awesome, motivated friends like yourself.
Yes.
And I've had these conversations a lot of times, and with performers. Like we talked offline about Snap Boogie, who was a performer on America's Got Talent. These performers that travel the world, but they say the same thing. They're focused on their art. They don't have time for social media. So
Right.
it makes no sense. What I'm not trying to kick myself. I do okay, but there's no reason why I should have more followers than a Mr. Carlos Morgan, who is a worldwide, and I'm not kicking myself to say that, but it's to say that you're a world renowned artist that grinds and has beautiful art and music and has traveled the world and performed concerts. Social media sometimes, as much as I love social media, it also doesn't make sense. But it's frustrating that I know so many amazing performers that they just don't have time for the media. They just want to focus on their art and nothing else.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I want to do. I want to focus on my art. Also play guitar, so I want to be able to practice more. I also vocal coach. I'm also into activism. I'm also a music educator. I'm a vocal coach. I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I'm going to be relaunching my clothing brand line. And these all are connected to my music. So when it comes to the social media part, it's like this is important, but I have all these things to do. So I'm by myself. I don't have a team. I don't have a manager. I don't have a booking agent. I don't have a. I'm basically the machine, right? And then and then I got to work, and again, I make my living in music as a music educator, as a vocal coach, performing. I have my own band. I do duo. I have a duo. I have a trio. I have a jazz ensemble. So when it comes to the social media stuff, it's like, oh my goodness, and sometimes I sit back and I'm like, I'm tired. It's tiring. And sometimes I ask myself, what's the point of doing all of this? You know?
Yeah. Before we go to your next song that I want to do a snippet of, I need to recognize a couple people in the chat.
Yes.
Jay has been here since the start of this interview. Let's recognize her. She's been gifting, she's been double tapping, she's been writing some positive comments. Anna, of course, who downloaded your song on Spotify. I also want to recognize a friend of mine as well. Tiffany sings. She's a singer, actually.
Yeah.
Tiffany sings. She is a singer. I know she's watching right now. Tiffany sings. Please give my friend Carlos Morgan a follow. I have a feeling there's a potential collaboration there. There's Amber Rain is her stage name here on TikTok. I think you see her comments, Carlos.
Yes, I see. Yes.
Amber Rain, Tiffany, please give Carlos a follow. Carlos, and when you have a chance, give her a follow back. She is a singer. I will be doing an interview with Amber Rain in the future. I just have a vision. There's a collaboration between the two of you. And I just want to shout out Amber Rain because she is watching the live because she's a singer. She's doing the hustle as well, right? So I just think she probably appreciates what you're saying right now. Amber just said, done. I love supporting musicians.
Well, thank you so much, Amber. I'm definitely going to follow back too.
So let's get into the next song here. We're going to play a little bit of Just Jane, okay, Carlos?
Okay.
Was an average day, down in every winter, till the sun rose through. Wasn't in the sky, no, rising from the rising turn the gray sky blue. On that cool September morning, I saw her in the rain. To me, she was a movie star to the world. She was just Jane. She gives more than she takes, and she takes my breath away. Oh yeah. In the world's eyes, she'll always be just.
I love this song, and I also know there's a reggae remix to this song as well.
Yep.
Talk to me about Just Jane.
So Just Jane, how I came upon that song, back in 2000, I think it was 2005, one of my best friends, who's an incredible singer-songwriter musician, his name is Chris Rouse. He was being hired to sing backgrounds on that song. Well, initially, he sang lead on the song, and the song got placed on Degrassi. You remember this, the show Degrassi?
Yes.
And so the song was, he sang on the version that ended up on Degrassi, and I think it was on the year that Drake was on Degrassi. So he called me, and he was sick one day, and he said, "Carlos, you know, there's this couple. The names are Earl and Laura Torno. They're songwriters, husband and wife team, songwriting team, and you know they're looking for, you know, I got to go and sing vocals on the song, but I'm sick. Can you come and help me?" So I went down to the studio. First time meeting Earl and Laura, and I heard that song. I was like, "Damn, that's a great song, man. Like, what's going on with it?" And they're saying, "Well, the song's gotten on Degrassi, but now they are shopping the song, and they shop the song as a demo to NSYNC." Now, this was before, so NSYNC's last album is called Celebrity. And NSYNC heard the song, and they wanted to record the song, but this album was done. So I was like, oh man. So they were disappointed that, you know, the song didn't get on, because, you know, like having, you know, Justin Timberlake or JC Chasez sing lead on Just Jane would have been, you know, for them as songwriters, right? So I was like, man. So then a few months later now, I was singing commercials. I was doing jingles, and I get called down to the studio. This is a few months later. I get called onto the studio, and I run into Earl. And I said, "Earl, whatever happened to that song, Just Jane?" And he said, "You know, there's not really anything happening with it. We're trying to shop it and things like that." And I said, "But listen, I'm working on a new album. Can I have a shot at it?" He said, "Sure." So in 2008 now, I think it was 2007, 2008, record the song, finished it. I sat on it. And then in 2010 or 11, I reached back out to Earl and I said, "I'm getting ready to finish this, get this album out." I didn't really have a name. Like, I had a name, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be for the album. So I said, "I want to produce the song. Can I have it?" He said, "Okay, well, I produced a brand new production. Used the same vocals. And I even think I redid some vocals, but kept most of my vocals, the original vocal. And then he created a brand new with live instrumentation. So the original version that I sang on wasn't live instrumentation. The one you just played was all live. And so then I re-sang some of my leads on the song. And then I didn't know what I was going to call the album. So I thought, okay, well, I've not released any music for a while. So I said, you know what? Let me put together a compilation of songs from my first album and some new album and just call it the compilation. So I put Just Jane on the album, and basically what they told me, the name of the song was inspired by recognizing and appreciating the everyday woman. So that could be your mother, your sister, your grandmother, your girlfriend, your aunt, you know, whatever woman in your life showing her how much you appreciate her. So where the lyric says, um, she's just Jane and she's everything to me. She's just Jane and she's all I'll ever need. She gives more than she takes and she takes my breath away. Here it is. In the world's eye, she'll only be just Jane. But because of her, and that her, again, could be your mother, your wife, your girlfriend, your whomever that special woman is your life, but because of her, your life has changed. So as men, we say to these women in our lives that, you know what, you're just Jane to everybody else, but to me, you've changed my life. And that's the essence of what Just Jane is about. And that message for me resonated with me, but the melody itself and the vibe of the song, yeah, it's still a beautiful song. So I shot a music video for that song as well. You can find on YouTube as well, an official music video for that song on YouTube as well. And then in 2015, I submitted it to the Academia Music Awards in LA, and I won an award for Best Song and Best Music Video for Just Jane. So, and then I wanted to get into doing reggae, and I'm actually going to start working on a reggae EP. But I thought I want to create a reggae version for that song because I thought this song could be a great reggae song. So I was looking for a reggae producer, couldn't find one. I was having a hard time finding one. People were giving me the runaround. These reggae producers in the city were giving me a runaround. So I said, you know what? I got a strong background in reggae. My family's Jamaican. I know the vibe. I know the style. Got together with a good friend of mine named Neeson Hardy, who passed away last year. We got in the studio, produced it, and put it out. And so I have Just Jane, the original version you played. I have a reggae version, and now I'm actually going to be putting I'm actually releasing one more version that's going to be on the new album called a Soul Sonic mix. So there's going to be three different versions of Just Jane. So yeah, that's the story of Just Jane.
I think Carlos just gave us an exclusive, and I'm all in. I'm all for it.
Yeah, man.
Again, if you're not already following myself on TikTok, my friend Carlos Morgan on TikTok, let's take 30 seconds right now. Make sure you give myself a follow, give Carlos a follow. And I gave you guys homework at the start of this interview. We want to get that number on the top left of our screen to 50K likes. Right now we're at 15.3. We want to get that number to 50K likes. So I want to make sure that each of you are double tapping the screen. Keep double tapping the screen. You're watching this interview. Keep double tapping the screen. Let's get that to 50K. Again, we know how TikTok works. We want to get as many people watching this live. Help us keep this live active by double tapping the screen. Let's get to 50K. So we're going to play a game, Carlos.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I know you're thorough with your answers, but here you got to be short, to the point, quick, 2 or 3 words, quick thoughts. I'm gonna name a few random musicians. Okay. I want you to give me a very quick few thoughts that come to your mind after I say the name.
Okay.
Quick, to the point, short reaction.
Okay.
We're going to start off with my man right on my wall here, Prince.
Prince. Prince was, and still is one of the greatest musicians of all time.
Taylor Swift.
No comment.
Michael Jackson.
The king.
Elvis Presley.
Controversial.
R. Kelly.
Shameful.
Which now segues to my next question. You're going to be like, Trevor, you did a good interview.
Yeah, man. You're doing it good, man.
What do you think about liking an artist's music after they've been quote unquote canceled? In other words, should or can the public separate the arts from the behavior?
Okay, well.
And let's just not make it just about R. Kelly, Elvis Presley. I don't know. I can't. All races, all genders. What do we think about an artist white, black, green, blue, man, woman, that does amazing art, and then something changes in their life, criminal wise or whatever wise, can we still like the art? So that's why, as much as we segue from R. Kelly, this is not just about R. Kelly. All artists that might be amazing, a beautiful music, and then all of a sudden something happens. Are you telling me now I can't listen to Step in the Name of Love? I can't listen to Billie Jean by Michael Jackson? Like, what are we saying right now? Can we support music and separate the art from the person?
I think it depends on what they did. For example, so if I know, if I loved R. Kelly's music and know he's a pedophile, I'm not listening to his music anymore, and I don't. Um, if we're going to talk about Bill Cosby and what he was accused of, I still watch the Cosby Show. Or if it's somebody who committed mass murder, he's an artist, whomever the artist is committed some atrocity. I'm like, no, depending on what it is, I'm not going to anymore. To speak of R. Kelly, when the allegations of R. Kelly first came out, I was still listening to him, but not as much. But then after further, after, hearing more from some of the victims, I was like, sorry, I can't do it. I won't do it. Jay-Z, I won't listen to Jay-Z. I stopped listening to Jay-Z in 2000. Well, maybe it was 2000. It's been a long time since I stopped listening to Jay-Z because of some of the things I heard he was mixed up in. Now, they could be all rumors. But when you see certain behaviors and actions and things that he says and does and hand gestures and who he's rolling with, I'm like, no. Sean Combs, absolutely not. I ain't listening to him at all. So, some people I'm like, okay, maybe. Liam Neeson, I won't watch another Liam Neeson movie. I used to watch, I was a Liam Neeson fan, but I won't watch a Liam Neeson movie because a few years ago, he talked about wanting to kill black people. And I'm like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So if you're hurting children, if her children have been hurt, I could be, listen, when they were coming up with these allegations against Michael Jackson, I said, they have to show me, there have to be solid proof before I stop listening to Michael. And 10 years after he's gone, or going on maybe 12 years now, sorry, after he's dead and gone, they still don't have any proof. So, and what they come out has been proven, the allegations against Michael Jackson have been proven to be lies. They were false. So, right. But if they were proven to be true, I'm like, as much as I love to hee and spin and watch Michael Jackson dance, nope. You a pedophile? I'm no. Right? Or you out here beating and abused? No, I'm not. So again, it depends on who or what the quote unquote alleged crime is.
I got you riled up, didn't I, Carlos?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. It's
Yeah.
tricky. But you know what? I respect some people, they'd be like, they could separate the art from the person, right? But there's also, I believe that some aspects of your art comes from your character, right? For example, I would listen to a song like R. Kelly's "I Believe I Could Fly," or the duet he did with Celine Dion, "I'm Your Angel," and I'm like, these are songs that are moved. But then I'm hearing he's singing these songs about, like, okay, people want to be freaky and sexy and all that, but I'm like, but then sometimes he's putting himself on blast, and we didn't even know. And then we see these things. I'm like, dude, you serious? You seriously did that? man, you're disgusting. And I'm just like, again, when these allegations came out against Sean Combs, I was like, But then I saw the footage. We all saw the footage of what he did with Cassie. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then hearing him raping kids, I was like, this dude needs to get got. So I'm not listening to his music. So, but some people can do that. Some people could be like, yeah, he was a monster over there, but man, he makes some good beats. But I'm like, but you don't, you can't, those people would be like, yeah, he's got some good beats and some good music, but can't see how some of his behavior can be, or his attitude, or this artist's attitude could be in their music. So, yeah.
Are there any artists, past or present, that you dream of collaborating with?
Man, I wish I could have collaborated with, God bless the dead, I wish I could have collaborated with Luther Vandross. I actually sang for him once. I wish I could have collaborated with Whitney Houston. An artist that I'd like to collaborate with now, I don't know. She's very popular. Relatively, I'll say her name is Layla Hathaway. I would love to collaborate with her. I would love to collaborate with Joe. Remember Joe?
I do.
I'd love to collaborate with him. There's a song that I wrote, that I co-wrote, that I'm going to reach out to him through his manager or his management and see if, because this song, so Layla Hathaway, Joe, and if I had a third, would probably be, I don't know, Tamia, and an artist from Canada I've been wanting to collaborate with for years is Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
So those would be collaborative artists I'd like to collaborate with, work with. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna play another song.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta play another song for sure. The ones I know again, like I told you earlier, Quentin Tarantino. We're kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
Song that I know during my intro. I don't know if I told you this, but I was a dancer in Electric Circus.
I heard you say that. Yeah, I heard you say that. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you that little tidbit about myself.
You probably did not, but I don't remember. But
4 years, every Friday night at 299 Queen Street West.
What years? What years were you dancing on?
1999 to 2004 ish.
Okay, that's after me. That's after me.
So Nadine, Monica Jewell just wrapped up. Juliet Powell became the host.
Right.
But they were bumping "Baby Come On."
Yeah, I remember they were bumping "Baby Come On" for years. I performed "Baby Come On" Electric Circus as well.
Well, I know, but we're gonna play this groove right now because this is the song that got me into you. Give me a second. We're gonna groove it. I love this song. I
Thank
know
you.
you always want me on your new music, and I play your new music, but I bug you nonstop that I'm in the office at work, sending you screenshots.
Yep, yep.
Bumping this song nonstop. I don't care if it's 2000, 2050, 100 and whatever, 3000. This song is timeless, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you.
What are your thoughts about this song? I play this song at least once a day. I not no joke, no lie, no anything. I play this song every day, Carlos.
Thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate your support. Now, I'm going to answer your question, but before I answer your question, Anna has a question here asking, when is my next concert? So I'm planning a concert on Saturday, April 19th. I make it happen. I'm doing a tribute concert for Luther Vandross. It would have been his 74th birthday on April 20th. So I'll be doing a few of his songs, a few original songs with my full band. There's nine people in my band. So it's going to be at a place called the Dawn on the Danforth. I'll send you all the information if you want, Trevor, if you want to put it out to your friends. And definitely, I'd love for you to come out. So Saturday, April 19th is when I'm planning my next concert. So yeah. So now for Baby Come On, so how this song came about was, do you remember a group from the late 80s, early 90s called Guy? You know Guy, Trevor?
Yes, they do, yeah.
And okay, so
I was trying to pretend that I don't because I'm 19, but yes, of course I do.
yeah. So okay, and you remember Blackstreet? But you like the way you work it.
No diggity, no doubt.
So the one of the lead singers in Blackstreet, Teddy Riley, who is the creator of New Jack Swing. He was in a group called Guy with Aaron and Damian Hall. And so in 1990, in the mid 90s, there was a TV show on Fox called New York Undercover. And and Guy had done a song on the New York Undercover soundtrack called Tell Me What You Like. Tell me what you like, baby. What you want from me. Okay. Big song. Like that. I remember when that song first came out, man. It was bumping. So when now we were recording the Feeling Alright album, the two producers, we were in the studio. They called me to the studio and they were working on that track. And we were playing it over. And I'm like, the track was killing. So it was myself and the songwriters, Tony Azzapardi and Darren Bowler, and the DJ Tyson Kate. The four of us, and I think there was probably one or two more people in the studio. And the track's bumping on the big speakers. So we're just listening, and all of a sudden, out of my mouth comes, I wanna rock on till the break of dawn, baby, come on. Wrote it down. Okay, they're like, what? Wrote it down. Okay, so it just spilled out my mouth. It just like, and I just sang it. And we just, okay. So then we started building the song around there. And then we came up with the Feel the Sound Up and Down All Night. And then I wrote the verses, and I wrote the chorus and the verses and a bit of the bridge. And then Tyson did some songwriting on it. And then the I Wanna Rock Right. So I Wanna Rock Right Now and the scratching. And so DJ Tyson's like, so we're like, okay, we need to add some things to it. So he had his two turntables in the studio and he starts scratching It Takes Two. I Wanna Rock. I'm like, yo, keep that. So we put that on. And then we were like, okay, so I Wanna Rock On to the Break of Dawn. And I don't know where I Just Wanna Rock You came up. The idea came from. And then, I don't know if I sang it or whatever happened, but we thought, wait a second. Yarbrough and Peoples, Don't Stop the Music. So we said, okay, well, we'll sample it, Don't Stop the Music, But then we brought in a young and up-and-coming singer named Natalie Giles to come and oversing the Alicia Peoples vocal. So we recorded the song, and man, when Baby Come On came out, it was like fire. It was like boom, like it was like it was getting played. And now at that time in the mid 90s, there were only 8 radio stations across Canada playing R&B. 8. There was, I think, 1 in Montreal. There were about 3 in Ontario, 1 in Edmonton, and 2 in Vancouver. Man, and I remember there would be sometimes when that song came out, I would go to all 3 radio stations and they'd be playing it at the same time. So Baby Come On came out. We shot the music video for it. I hated the music video for it. I'm used to it now. It was a nightmare shooting a music video for that song because the director and the label, Tony and Darren, I was signed to their label, and we had a falling out about the music video because I didn't like it. I didn't like the direction of it, but you know, it is what it is. But the song itself, and it was just so, again, the song was inspired by that Guy song, Tell Me What You Like, right? Because the Tell Me What You Like, so the Tell Me What You Like goes, the bass line goes, I wanna go dum 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 dum, right? And Baby Come On, and they did it doo dum 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 dum. So it was like so reminiscent of that Guy song. It had a little bit of the New Jack Swing vibe to it. And again, when it just like, and when the way I sang it made it bounce. I wanna rock on till the break of dawn, baby, come on. I just sing it tight, really tight and bouncy. And they're like, okay, that's it. And we're like, well, what do we call it? Baby, come on. Right? Because that's the vibe of the song, right? It's like, come on, baby, or baby, come on, you know, I want to rock you. I want to, you know, nothing sexual, but that fun, you know, it's got that, it's sexy, not sexual, right? So yeah, just, and still, so when people now speak, or they refer to Carlos Morgan, oh, he's that guy that sings the Come On, Baby, no, it's Come On, Baby, no, it's Baby, Come On. So that's the song. So I'm really, really grateful that people will still reach out to me. I still get emails from Europe and even Asia, like, yo, that Baby Come On song, man, I still bump it. DJ still bump it. You know, so I'm really grateful that almost, 28 years later, 25, 28 years later, that song still resonates with people. So thank you so much, Trevor.
If you could give me a short answer on this one, did you think when you were making it, compared to all the other songs, like, did you feel like this is a timeless song when you were making it, or when you at least first heard it, once the final cut of it, that you felt this is going to be a song, whether it be 2007 or 2006, 2025, 3000, like, I play this song for my audiences. I play it in clubs. You know, I used to promote nightclubs. I played around with DJing. I played at the events that I run. Like, this song is timeless. It holds up.
Yeah. Well, again, when we first recorded it, I wasn't thinking about it being a timeless song. I was just in the moment and not thinking that, almost 30 years later, that people will still bump to it, and people will still like, they would. I wasn't thinking about that when I first recorded it, but now reflecting back, I'm like, wow, it is a timeless song, and it's just too bad. But again, a lot of people don't like. You hear a song like, again, like what I just mentioned, No Diggity. I like the way you work. People like, oh, that's right, still bumps. But I think, not to toot my own horn, but a song like Baby Come On could stand right beside a No Diggity, or that song by
No
Next.
doubt.
Yeah, right. Or a song by Next, Baby Come and Grind It, right? those kind of songs, right? But I'm sure if I was in America and Baby Come On came out, people would be like, oh yeah, that song called, and people wouldn't know my name, even if it's just based on that one song, right? But so
Just so you know, speaking as a fan, I have played that song all over the U.S. When I'm sidetracking this interview. I'm a baseball fan. I'm trying to see all 30 stadiums.
nice.
Travel the U.S. I have friends in the U.S. We're hanging out. I'll be at a late night bar at 3 in the morning, Carlos. I play your music. I'm teaching these Americans. Most of them know about you already, but I'm saying if they don't, I'm playing that song on the jukebox. I'm cranking it on my iPhone, whatever I'm doing. I'm
Thank you, man.
teaching these people, and
Thank
I start them with Baby Come On, and then we work our way up to Just Jane, and we're going to get into the next question with Sunglasses at Night. We're going to talk about cover songs.
you. Yep. Okay.
I just went on a rant there, but it's to say, I play your song all the time, wherever I am in the world, and that song is timeless.
Thank you so
Come
much, man.
on.
Well, someone's asking here, uh, J3, JJ3, can you sing us a verse live?
All right, you sing. I'm gonna just grab a note here. She's putting you on the spot. If you want to give a bit of a hook, I'm just gonna grab a note.
Okay, I'll sing a verse. Okay. If you love it, girl, won't you tell me so? I want to satisfy all of your needs. Look into my eyes, tell me what you see, and let me know how you want it to be. Yeah, in the night, we can make it right. Mm, you and me, it's how it's really meant to be. Need you close, it's you I want the most. Oh yeah, so come on, girl. Come and rock it with me. I wanna rock on till the break of dawn. Baby, come on. I just wanna rock you. Yeah, girl. I wanna rock on till the break of dawn. Baby, come on. Feel the sun up and down. All night. There you go. Yo, yo, yo.
What I'm doing is I'm trying to just find it. Here we go. I just got it. Here we go.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're very welcome. I hope everybody's enjoying the show. Thank you all for listening in.
It's just there's a one note here. I'm just bringing you over to my screen. For some reason, this one question, I really want to make sure I ask this question. For some reason, it didn't transfer over to my notes. So I'm giving you guys honesty here. I went from my phone to my laptop because there's a really important question I wanted to ask you. And for some reason, it didn't transfer over my notes.
Okay.
But here we go. Carlos, I am a bit of a music snob. It is quite rare when I like a cover song just as much, if not even more rare, if I like the cover song more than the original.
Okay.
No Doubt, It's My Life, originally by Talk Talk, was covered by No Doubt. Anthony David, Something About You, originally done by Level 42. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, originally done by Dolly Parton. You know where I'm going with this, Carlos.
I think so.
Sunglasses at Night, originally done by Corey Hart, down 1,005,000%. No disrespect to Corey Hart. I love that original song. But sorry, Carlos, you rocked it 1,005,000% better than the original. Let's talk about your thoughts about cover songs. What are your thoughts on cover songs or the artists who do cover songs?
I think it's fine. I think doing cover songs is great. I think it's a great way to introduce artists, new artists. Many established, popular, well-known, famous, successful artists perform cover songs. Some have done full cover albums. So I think doing cover songs are great. Luther Vandross, who's one of my top 3 biggest vocal inspirations, he done 1 or 2 cover songs on every album. He did a full cover album as well. Whitney Houston, she performed a few cover songs like I Will Always Love You, The Greatest Love of All is a cover song, originally done by George Benson. She's done quite a few. I Love the Lord, which was on the Preacher's Wife album. So, and a lot of artists, even during their shows, have done do cover songs. Prince, he did a cover song, Bet You By Golly Wow, right? So, did Michael do any cover songs? He probably did. Yeah, he did.
Covers of Human Nature by reggae artists that I love of Human Nature. And let's remind you, because I'm a huge Prince fan, let's remind you, Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You.
Right, and done by Sinead O'Connor. Right. So, but Prince also did one himself. I know, the one Bet You By Golly Wow that he did. So again, everybody does cover songs. So I think it's great. And again, I don't hear, I've heard some cover songs that are better than the original. And then I hear some cover songs, I'm like, you should have left that one alone. Don't go near it.
Hell yeah. I mean, are there artists that you would say, let's stay clear from them? Like, I mean, I feel like, haven't you did a cover of Prince? Because I think I heard you do a cover of potentially, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you did a cover of Purple Rain. I could be wrong.
Not Purple Rain.
Song, but either way, I feel like you did it justice. But
I never recorded a live. I performed Purple Rain in sometimes in my live shows, but definitely when I'm doing my solo shows, I perform it. But what I have done is I'm working on a jazz project called the R&B Jazz Songbook, and we do a jazz version of Let's Go Crazy. And it sounds really good, really good. So the partner that I'm working with, one of my best friends, who's an incredible musician, his name is Dale Joseph Denny. He arranged all the music. And then I just, do my jazz vocals over on top, following the chord structure and progressions. But that's the Prince cover song that we do, but we do it in jazz. A jazz interpretation or styling is what we call it. Yeah.
If you're not already following myself on TikTok, please take 30 seconds to please give myself a follow. Please give my guest Carlos Morgan a follow on TikTok. Please keep that chat below active. As you see, as much as I told Carlos to focus on myself, the host, Carlos can't help himself. He wants to talk to the fans, and you see he's interacting with the fans. Throw your question in the chat if you have a question. But more importantly, please keep double tapping the screen. On the top left of your screen, we are at 20K likes, Carlos. We're at 20K likes. We want to get this to 50K likes. So please, can we all double tap the screen, all of us as a team, keep double tapping the screen. We want to get this number to 50K likes so I can prove to Carlos that I got some swag up in here. We got momentum happening. I wore a suit jacket for him. We're gonna get that to 50K, everyone. So,
well, where you're at 20K right now, that is amazing, man. That's still great. That's still great.
But I appreciate you. So again, for those that are here, please give my friend Carlos a follow on TikTok. But more importantly, add him to Apple Music, add him to Spotify, add him, subscribe to him on his YouTube channel. Please take 30 seconds to do all that for Carlos. JJ3 says, Trevor, my finger hurts. I need to take a moment. Trevor, stop bossing me around, Trevor. My finger hurts from double tapping the screen. But I know she gave Carlos a follow, so I'll give her a bit of a break.
Appreciate that so much, JJ3. Thank you so much. And to Anna and to Mariah. Yeah, thank you for being here. And I think Natural Hairstyles, you like the live. So it's to everyone who's here and joining us and listening and sharing in our a live stream here with Trevor. Thank you for coming out.
I don't know if you noticed this, Carlos. On the top left of your window, it shows 151. Do you know that that's gifts and coins and support? And we talked during rehearsal, Carlos.
Yeah, that's
You know what
right.
it means, Carlos.
Man, I can really go to McDonald's and get some French fries now.
Carlos is getting some gifts and some love. Thank you for double tapping the screen. But more
Yeah,
importantly, we're not asking for gifts, but we'll take it. We'll take fries at McDonald's.
yeah, man.
Carlos, if you're listening, Carlos, we're open to endorsement opportunities. He will talk about your McDonald's fries.
Yeah.
But if you're just joining us, we are talking to Carlos Morgan. Please give him a follow. Please double tap the screen. I appreciate those that are watching. Now we're getting to the final segment here. Well, actually, no. Before we get to the final segment, I want to play another one of your jams because, you know, I'm just invested with your jams here. So we're going to go out of the cover songs here. We're going to go to covers. We're going to play Carlos Morgan. We're going to play another song here. We played Baby Come On, but I also want to play Give It To You here for 30 to 40 seconds, please.
Okay.
No matter where you go, I will always go to. Hey, no matter where you run, I will always find you. You. Oh, there's no disguise. No matter high. Oh, you're back on me. I never do that to you. Hey, yeah. Baby, give it to me, girl. That's what I wanna do. Let me show you what I got. All I got for you. All I got for you. Baby. That's the way we do it.
Again, that's another song that I play nonstop at my office. I play it at some of our galas that I run. I do event planning. I play that song when I run the event, and if I'm not running the event, I make sure whatever DJ I hire, Carlos, plays that song. What are your thoughts about that song? Give It To You.
Well, I love that song. That is, I enjoy that song a lot. The sample, there are the two samples. I think there's one sample that's on that record from a big R&B song back in the early 80s called Outstanding. And so Tony and Darren, the guys I was signed to and that produced the record, they had the verse, they had that song written for somebody else under a different title. And so when actually they wrote it for Glenn Lewis originally, and it was used to be called Round and Round. So then how the new title came up of Give It To You came up was that, okay, well, again, same thing in the studio. They had updated it because, the sample was same, but the production was different. So we're in the studio, they're playing Glenn's version over and over and over and over again. And then I sang the whole chorus right then. I want to give it to you, girl, like I never had before, so on and so forth. Boom, wrote it down, went in and then sang my lead, using some of the same vocal inflections and vocal direction that Glenn did, and then adding some of my own. And then we brought in LP. LP, the lyrical prophet, hip hop artist. He rapped on it. And then when we do the turn you out, scream and shout, I want to give it to you. We wanted to do that Mary Jane Girls. You know that song? I want to give it to you, give it to you, give it to you, give it to you. From the Mary Jane Girls. So we wanted to add a bit of that. So we wanted to give it some different elements of recognition. So we gave it that. And then when LP did, I want to make your backbone slide just like Maestro. So shouting out Maestro in the lyric, shouting out the Mary Jane Girls, giving that, outstanding, the Gap Band vibe on it. and then, you know, and then you say, I want to give it to you, girl. Now, when people have first heard the song, they think, oh, here's Carlos trying to talk about sex. Again, it's not about sex. It's basically about, I say, you know, no matter where you go, I will always go to. No matter where you run, I will always find you. Basically saying that wherever you go, or wherever you are, I'm going to find you because I want to give you love. I want to give it to you, girl, like you never had before. Make you scream and shout, make you scream for more, and scream for more meaning, more. You want like more love, more affection, more. Okay, if there's intimacy and there's passion and there's love making, okay, there's more of that. But it's not about I want to give you sex. No, no. No, it's about intimacy and love. You want to give more love, more passion, you know? So that's basically what the song is about. And so we shot a music video for that song, and I won a Much Music Video Award for that song as well. And the difference between the shoot music video for Baby Come On, which I hated, and Give It To You, which I really enjoyed, was I had more say in the concept of the video. And so people want, if they want to watch it, they could watch the music video on YouTube as well. And it was directed by Warren Sonata of Black Walk at the time. And he said, okay, Carlos, what are your ideas? What are your thoughts? I shared some ideas and thoughts. And then when it came to the editing of the video, myself and my former manager, we went to the editing studio and we edited the music video with the editor. So we said, okay, well, what do you think? Well, I like that shot, like that. And the video came out and it got medium to heavy rotation on Much in the 97. And it was, I think it was the top 20 most played videos, music videos of 97, 98. So, you know, that song for me. So both Baby Come On and Give It To You really holds a lot for me.
I mean, you keep saying 97, but I'm telling you, Carlos, I was on Electric Circus in 2000, and Baby Come On and Give It To You, I was not only just dancing at 299 Queen Street West to that song on a riser, I was like going on Richmond Street. Like, this is Canadian references. Sorry to the Americans and the world watching this, but I was also a nightclub promoter. I ran Richmond Street. We were going all the nightclubs: Joker Nightclub, Fluid Lounge, D Spot, Miel Nightclub, District. All the clubs were bumping that song in 2000, 2001, 2002. So as much as Carlos is being humble right now and saying a certain year, that song was played non-stop at clubs I was going to, Electric Circus. Like, before I had the opportunity of getting to know you as a person, I was a fan, and I'm telling you, those songs are timeless.
Thank you so much, man.
So we're getting to the final segment here. I don't want to keep you. Are there any new projects, albums, or performances you're working on that you're excited to share with your fans? Oh, and before you answer that, sorry, I don't want to be rude to the JJ3 here. She was kind enough to say, I'll be downloading all your music on Apple Music today. So she watched this interview. She's gotten a chance to meet you tonight. She's saying to you right now, I will be downloading all your music on Apple Music today. What do you have to say to JJ3?
I am deeply grateful, JJ3. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it, and I hope you'll enjoy the music. I hope you enjoy my music, and if you feel inclined to share with your friends, and tell your friends about my music, and encourage your friends to download my music. And I'm also of the mindset that I love to ask people humbly to as musicians, we should support one another, and download each other's music and or go to each other's performances and shows. So again, I just want to say how deeply I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
So I'll ask the question again because I got distracted by that good question or that good comment. Are there any new projects, albums, or performances that you're working on that you're excited to share with our TikTok audience and worldwide?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, I'm working on a new album. The album's called Where I've Been, Where I'm Going. It's going to be 20 songs. I'm 2 songs away from completion. I should have finished in 2024. But I was going through a lot of different changes. The past since May, I've been going through a number of changes. But now I'm going to get back and to finish these two songs. I'm hoping to. My goal is to release a song in April or May. First single, another single in August, and then I'm going to release. I'm going to release five, four. Instead of putting out the whole 20 songs at the same time, I'm going to release five at a time. Five small segments of the album. Five times four. Yeah, 5 times 4. Yeah. So I'm gonna put out 5 songs four times, and then at the end put out the whole album. Right. So I'm really excited about this record that I've been working on. It's gonna have a combination of I produced majority of the album. I've written majority of the album. I've got a duet on there with a Juno Award-winner named Miranda Love. We did a duet called April Flower. I did a song with Socrates, featured on the album. My favorite song in the album is a song I wrote called Long Hard Road. I'm really looking forward to that song. The first single I'm going to be releasing is Come Take My Hand. It's a combination of, it's a gospel / call to action song. It's basically the song about all the chaos that's going on in the world and how we need to come together as a human race, and in order to overcome the hate and racism and all the chaos that's going on in the world today, is to take each other by the hand and basically lift our hands towards heaven and loving God and loving ourselves and loving each other, and how we can. So I'm really excited about that song. It's featuring a gospel singer, a duet. The gospel singer, her name is Michelle Adams, and the choir on the song as well. So basically this album is like, where I've been, things I've been through, and then where I'm going, and there's going to be some love songs, heartbreak songs. There's another favorite song I wrote is called What Would You Say? And it's basically, sharing about, the song is about what would you say when you tell somebody how you're feeling, and the hurt and the upset and the brokenness that you're feeling, and trying to tell this person how you feel, and they're not hearing you. So instead of you take a step back and say, you know what, I've been trying to tell you these things, and you're not hearing me. So what would you say to this? What would you say to that? And now now the relationship is over. So now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say. So I'm really excited about that song. And that song is just piano and vocal and strings on that particular song. And then I have a song where it's I'm sampling. Well, I'm not sampling. I'm doing all the vocals. And there's a song I wrote in honor of Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Take 6, and Stevie Wonder. So, and then I got a vibe that's D'Angelo. I got a couple of D'Angelo type Marvin Gaye, Prince songs on there. So it's a cross section of different songs. So I'm really excited about it. So where I've been, where I'm going, my goal is to release the first 5 songs in September, and then planning a tour after that. And again, looking for social media marketing. So if anybody out there knows any great social media marketing firms I could reach out to, help me with my marketing, because I need a brand new website, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Doing little concerts here and there. Again, concert April 19th, Saturday, April 19th, which I'll send the information for it, Trevor. At the Dawn on the Danforth, a tribute to Luther Vandross, and I'll be doing some original songs, or 3 or 4 original songs in that show. But again, Luther Vandross is one of my biggest vocal inspirations, right? One of my top 3. So that's really the major show that I got coming up right now. So those are the things I got coming up at the moment. Oh yeah, and also I'm a vocal coach. So if anybody's looking for vocal coaching, I'm available for that. I'm a music educator, and I'm getting into the keynote speaking. So I'm working on setting up a keynote speaking tour, and it's a talk I'm going to it's called How Music Can Dismantle Racism. So how music can be used to break down racial animosity between people of different racial backgrounds, and how we could use music to see each other as the same, because we all know that no matter what, we all love music, and music, we all resonate with music. So instead of being like, okay, well, we love R&B. Many people love R&B, many people love hip hop, many people love rock, many people love jazz. Right? Heavy metal, whatever it is. There's some heavy metal songs that I like. If people look at me, you like heavy metal? Like, yeah, there's some that I like. So again, if I like heavy metal, if I'm an R&B guy that loves heavy metal, and you're the heavy metal guy that loves R&B, then why is it that we can understand each other with music, but we can't understand each other as just people because my skin color is different than yours? So then how can we use music to look past race and how we could see each other as human beings? So how music can break down and dismantle racism. So that's the keynote speaking and I'm doing a keynote speaking talk in St. Catharines on Saturday, February 22nd. I also do a talk on Black music history in Canada, so I'll be doing some of that. So I'm very passionate about music education and getting to this keynote speaking aspect and activism work. So I got quite a number of good things as well. And then my wifey and I, we're starting a clothing brand line. We're starting a clothing brand line called the Carl Parks Collection, where we create brands and put them on hoodies and t-shirts and things like that. So yeah, all that stuff coming out. So be on the lookout for everybody for all that stuff.
You touched on something when you were talking there. Why is it, maybe there's not even a good answer to this question, but like, why is it when we're in a sports venue or where we're in a concert venue, music and sports can bring us together, right, regardless of the race and gender? Music, I mean, you touched on it. You mentioned that you like some heavy metal. Like when I talk to people, you know what frustrates me? I'm going on a rant here. When you talk to someone, what kind of music do you like? Oh, I like everything. And then you start to talk to them, they don't really like anything. But I like to argue, my parents, I think, raised me right. When you have parents that crank music louder than you do as a kid, you're getting brought up in the right music hole. Because I go from listening to like the Beatles to like Guns N' Roses to like Carlos Morgan to Michael Jackson to Jack Soul to Rod Stewart. My mom got me into Rod Stewart, Carlos. And my mom's watching this right now, if not live on YouTube after. Nice. I've taken my mom to see Rod Stewart 6 or 7 times. Wow. And he's like 105 years old, and he's rocking it on that stage harder than people in their 20s. Yep. So I'm getting to my point here. It's just like, why is it that music and sports can bring us all together? And then I'm getting you to give a controversial take here, but then outside of those worlds, there's so much negativity out there. But music and sports bring us all together. Right. Nothing more than music and sports seem to really bring us all together.
That's right. It's like Stevie Wonder has a lyric in the song Sir Duke where he says, music is a world within itself with a language we all understand. So the question is, what is that language that we as people understand, and in that understanding connects us, right? Bob Marley has a lyric in a song called Trenchtown Rock. When the music hits you, you feel no pain. So it's like, when you're out somewhere and you hear some good music and like, man, this feels good, and you're dancing, right? No matter what it is, you just could be somewhere. I've been in some places where I'm like, back in, I think November, December, my wife and I were at a wedding, and they're playing all this Afro beats. And I'm like, this music is, man, this is good. I couldn't stand, I had to move, right? And it's like, and so all these, and then, sometimes I'm in some places, in a restaurant somewhere, and they'd be playing some like, they built this city on rock. And I'm like, and I'm singing along. I'm like, this is good music. Like, right? I'm listening to all these, and then sometimes I'm singing these country songs like from George Jones. I'm like, I didn't even know I know a George Jones song or Conway Twitty. Like, and it's like, but yet, and I could sit from somebody who would never would look at me and be like, you don't know, you would know a song by Tammy Wynette or Barbara Mandrell. They would think, what do you know about Barbara Mandrell or Conway Twitty or Loretta Lynn? I'm like, yeah, I know, right? So it's like they have this preconceived idea because I'm black, but I'm like, no, that's music, and I can. So if I can learn about you through your music, right? Then why can't we transcend the music and see each other as people? But if music can be the conduit that unifies people to look past race, because racism is a social construct created by white supremacy. So how do we move that social construct of white supremacy and the social construct of race, move it out of the way so I could see you, okay, you're a white man, I'm a black man, but at the end of the day, as generic as it is, we bleed red, right? We feel pain. We are living a human experience. That's right. We're all living a human experience. And sometimes, yeah, you being a white man and me being a black man, we'll have different experiences, or we'll share the same experiences, but we'll go through them differently, but they're still the same. So music is that conduit. Sports and music, as you said, are the conduit that I'm looking at as, okay, so then how can we use music? Or how could we use sports to dismantle racism? And that's what I'm very passionate about this. And when I was looking into the speaking circuit, because I got my master's degree, I went to get, as you know, I think you know that I went to get my master's degree, and I specialized in Black music history in Canada. And then I started thinking, okay, I want to get into the speaking circuit because when I watch a lot of TED Talks, and I'm like, no one's addressing it's rarely addressed. How can we all love music in one way, shape, or form? And music could also be used to cause harm and hurt people. But we want to find a way where music can be used to unify and see us as we see each other as we're different, but we're the same, and we could come together. And so I want to, as I was saying before, when I started recognizing that, people are, we could get past each other, get past the race, and come together. Music is the best way to do it.
I got a couple more questions before we wrap up, Carlos, but the one thing when you were talking got me riled up. I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I don't think I've even told anyone this story. I had the opportunity to go to Montego Bay, Carlos.
Oh, nice.
And I'm a massive fan of Bob Marley.
Yep.
And I didn't want, anytime I go to any trip, I don't like to hang out at the resort. I like to actually I like to do excursions. I like to get away from the touristy things.
Right.
And there was an opportunity for me to go to 9 Mile to see the Marleys actually lived. Some of the Marleys still live there.
Right.
So there was an opportunity for me to actually go to 9 Mile. I actually got to see Bob Marley's mausoleum. I got to sit on a rock where Bob Marley wrote some of his music. Right. I'm only going by what the tour guide told me, so I apologize if I'm not giving factual information. I'm assuming it's correct. But the one frustration I got really, and I'm pissed about, was 90% of the people on that bus, Carlos, and I'm going to say this to rile you up, 90% of the people on that bus were just going on that trip because that was the spot to get
weed.
Thank you.
Okay.
I promise you, I don't smoke. I'm not saying it's good or bad to do that if you want to do it. I myself don't do that. I went there as a music fan to appreciate Bob Marley, to see that rock where he wrote music, pay my respect to his mausoleum. I had no idea that a lot of the people on that trip, and I'm going to shame my own color, white people, were on that trip because that was the tolerable place to get marijuana. I don't know what your thoughts are of that, of the touristiness of Montego Bay and 9 Mile, but it was just for, I'm saying as a white person, it was frustrating to me that I'm a huge fan of Bob Marley. I didn't even think about that. My mind didn't even compute to that. It was like, wait, I'm in Jamaica, I'm in Montego Bay. Why wouldn't I want to go to the actual place where this man wrote music? And then most of the people there were going to this brick wall where there was a one brick out of the wall where they were getting whatever. It was just it was frustrating to me.
I can understand that, you know, and unfortunately, well, I don't know. No, I don't want to say it's unfortunate. I guess I'll say it's a part of the culture. You know that you know, weed is a part of the Rastafarian culture and a part of Jamaican culture. You know, so and again, you know, weed is now legalized in this society. So you know, I understand that people are going to want to go to Jamaica and you know blaze up and get some herb and you know and get their high on. Um, and again, I think even in some way, I'm not sure to whatever extent or degree that smoking is a show of reverence. I think that's what I've heard. You know, especially when you're around Rastafarians, and if you are smoking, you know, it's a way of the way of a way of showing reverence, if you will. So. Um, so yeah, people are going there for that to get you know the blaze on. You know, it's I guess it is what it is. Again, it's in Jamaica, so. But again, I would also hope that they would, if they're going to the Bob Marley Museum, that they would take the time to understand, you know, the revolutionary that Bob Marley was, you know, and he used to address uh, social social issues, and you know when you listen to his Exodus album, you know that had the big hits like Three Little Birds and One Love and Jammin'. You know, you listen to Rastaman Vibration, you listen to you know, Buffalo Soldier, you know, War. You know, he really addressed a lot of the social issues of his day, which are still relevant today, right? So I hope people will be like, yeah, okay, this Bob Marley, you know, we're blazing up, but really take the time to understand, like what you did. You went there to learn more about him and to be in the spaces and the places that he wrote songs, that he lived in, that he dwelled in. You know, where he was nearly assassinated in that place, at that home. Um, and you know, a lot of the controversies that he went through when he was alive, living in Jamaica, living on 9 Mile. So I hope people would have taken the time to, you know, really not just go there and be in the tourist mindset, but you know, take some time to really understand who Bob Marley was.
I appreciate that. We're down to the final two questions, Carlos. As we wrap up, again, if you're just joining us, if you're not already following myself on TikTok or my guest Carlos Morgan, please take 30 seconds right now to give myself a follow, give Carlos a follow, and please let's keep this chat active. Keep double tapping the screen. Get us to our goal of 50K likes before the end of this interview. And I just want to share something with you, Carlos. JJ3 says, I don't understand why race is still an issue still. When are people going to learn from our history? So that was JJ3. She shared that with us.
Thank you, JJ3. Yeah.
What advice would you give young musicians trying to break into the industry today? Or I could even probably wrap up these two questions into one question. What advice would you give to young musicians trying to break into the industry today? As a celebrated artist as yourself, what message or legacy do you hope to leave for aspiring musicians?
Well, the first, I always say to young and up and coming artists, education is key. Learn the music business, learn about the music industry, And as an artist, um, absolutely be true to yourself. Um, um, work hard at your craft, no matter if, singer, songwriter, musician, strive to be the best at your craft. Um, be humble. Humility. Humility is extremely, I believe in humility, and I believe it's very important. So yeah, those 3 or 4 points. Education is key because again, this business, as we always hear, is full of sharks, demons, and there's a lot of demons in this business. And if you don't have a strong um, mental, physical, emotional, um, psychological, and most importantly, spiritual foundation, you get swept up and swept away and end up in situations that can rip and rape and strip and destroy any sense of self-respect and self-value. Um, and 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 don't think that if you quote if an artist sells their soul that they're going to have the success because they may even get the success, but in those times when they're alone or when they don't their name's not being called anymore and they're not the famous artists as they used to be, it's going to wreak havoc on them. So being educated, being humble, work hard at your craft. Um, Yeah, and surround yourself with good people as much as you can, even if that's 1 or 2 people. Um, that's the first question. My legacy, I would hope that when people think of Carlos Morgan, they'll say like, well, one, I, you know, I created some good music, and that people will consider me one of the best vocalists, singer vocalists they've heard. That I'm one of the best performers that they've ever seen. Um, that that my music, after I'm, no longer on this planet, no longer living in this life of this world, that, like you said, if it's 100 years from now, God willing, depending on where life is at that time, that if when people hear my music, it's like, man, this music from 100 years ago still bumps. So that's what I hope my legacy will be. That people, when they think of an artist or a musician from Canada, and knowing how the music industry in this country is, that when they hear Carlos Morgan, they'll be like, yeah, he didn't get his just dues, but he had some great, yeah.
I promised you I was wrapping up, but I do have one bonus question before we play 2 more of your tracks.
Absolutely.
I've told you this story 100 times offline, and you're probably like, Trevor, shut up already. But I met Prince, and I will always have that on you, Carlos.
Yeah, you will, because man, I was hoping to meet him too.
But my question to you, Carlos, is that yeah, I was a nightclub promoter at Fluid Lounge on Richmond Street. He had a Canadian wife. He lived on Bridle Path. He came to Fluid Lounge in his pajamas and cowboy boots, and he came out, and I had the opportunity to meet him. I went to his concert. I've been to Paisley Park. The question I'm asking you is: there someone a celebrity, public figure that you got to meet that just kind of got you shook? Because for me, I was on Electric Circus. I met 105 celebrities over the years. But meeting Prince, this was in the days of digital cameras. And even before I knew that he was someone that, you keep your cell phone in the pocket. This was before cell phones, right? Like, I just was smart enough to know. I saw Prince, my hand with my camera, what went into my pocket. I gave him the privacy. I gave him the respect. My rant to just sneak in that I met Prince, Carlos, and you didn't. Is there a celebrity in your life that you really resonated with that just kind of hit home, that you were happy that you got to, shoot the shit with or have that opportunity to kind of talk shop with?
Luther Vandross. It was during his 1989 Any Love tour. And at the time, I was in a relationship. And my girlfriend at the time bought tickets for us to go see Luther Vandross, which at the time was called the O'Keefe Center, but it's now a different name. It's the theater that's at Front and Yonge Street. And she took me there, and then we went back to the Blue Note. Now at the Blue Note, which was a very popular club in the late 80s, early 90s, all throughout the 80s up until mid 90s. I was the lead singer for the house band at the Blue Note for 2 years. And when Luther came and did his concert there, after the concert, they were having an after party for him at the Blue Note. So not knowing, I knew there was an after party and I was going to go, So not knowing that there was going to be a live performance, when I walked in the club owner said to me, "You're performing tonight because Luther's going to be here." I almost passed out. So he shows up, he's tall, he's about 6'5". And so on his Any Love album, he did a cover song of a classic song, R&B soul love song called Love Won't Let Me Wait by Major Harris. Major Harris recorded it in 1973. Luther does a version of it. So when he walks in, and he walks in with two of his background singers, Lisa Fisher and Kevin Owens, and Lisa Fisher went on to have a huge hit song in the early 90s, 1991, called How Can I Ease the Pain. The three of them walk in. So I'm singing, he walks in, I'm freaking out. I invite Lisa Fisher and Kevin Owens on stage. I invite Luther, but he didn't come. They came, we're on stage together, and then they go to the back. So I said, "Okay, Luther, I'm going to sing this song for you." I sing Love Won't Let Me Wait. The crowd screams. I come off stage. I walk to the front of the club. I'm pacing, not knowing that Luther Vandross didn't see him coming. Comes up to me and he taps me on the shoulder and he says, "Come outside, let's go talk." And we stood there in front of the Blue Note for 10 minutes and he said, "You remind me of me when I was first starting out, and I want you to keep going. Don't give up, don't stop." And that was in 1990. And it's been 30 plus years, and I've never forgotten that moment. And so, as an artist, as a singer, as a songwriter, as I said before, for a long time it was Stevie. A long time it was Donny Hathaway, and now for me, it's a three-way tie between Luther, Donny, and Stevie. But yeah, when I met Luther Vandross, for me, that was like, wow, man. So you meeting Prince, who I would have, but I could also say you didn't meet Luther Vandross.
You're right. You are right. I would have loved to meet Luther Vandross. I love his music. Okay, we're wrapping up, but I have to play Feeling Alright right now.
Yes.
Check this out. Check it out, y'all. Yeah, and we're feeling alright. Yeah, we're feeling alright. Yeah, we're feeling alright. We're feeling alright. Yeah, we're feeling alright. Yeah, we're feeling alright. Yeah, we're feeling alright. Yeah, we're feeling alright. Feeling alright. Feeling alright. I'm sitting in my bedroom. I'm thinking about the times that you and I shared. I'm fantasizing of your love and your touch. Oh, girl, I love you so much. Oh, girl, yeah. All right. You put a song in my heart, a smile on my face. Every time I'm with you, baby. Yes, you do, honey. Oh, yeah. I don't want to love nobody else. I want to share my life with you. You're an angel from the heavens. You make my dreams come true. Yes, you are.
Carlos, I could just do like a separate interview, just playing your music all night. Like, there's like 4 or 5 songs I want to play for everyone. Like, I think we need to do a follow-up interview in
Yeah,
the
man.
where we're just playing songs. I shut up. I don't ask you questions. I just play songs, and you give me your like reaction to it. Like, I feel like that's like a separate interview. But give me your
Cool, man. I love it.
that song right there.
I'm feeling all right. Um, one of the songwriters, one of the guys that I was signed to the record label, Dito and Tony has a party. He was getting married, and so they then played this music. I loved the music, and so I went home and I wrote the lyrics. I was living with my mom at the time, and I went home and I wrote the song in my bedroom, and I was inspired by Tony and his wife Ricky, and basically about just everything this woman is, and all that she is, and all that she does makes me feel all right. I'm feeling all right. And going to love her all my life long because loving her makes me feel all right. I'm feeling all right. So that's what inspired that song. And then, and then I think I was in a relationship at that time, but just again, being with the one that you love is like, and everything she does is like, yeah. And like the hip hop guy says, yeah. And I'm feeling all right. Yeah. That's it, man.
I'm gonna play another one just because I'm feeling good right now. I want to play this one here. Hey yo, Carlos, what's up, homie? L-G-O. So wait, baby. Carlos, what up? It's Mr. Just Knock in the spot. L-G-O. Mr. Sosa outside. Count money's really guilty. We're giving you something to feel in. We're giving you something to believe in. L-G-O. New year and it's all fitting tight. Fresh kicks, yeah, they're working right. I look good and I'm feeling nice. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, well, in my tub, this is how we get down. Come on, in your drop, don't stop, just let it go. In the crib, I wanna hear that way you live. All my ladies say, I'm just getting at the club. I focus this shit again, I can't get enough. I'm checking her. I mean, we talk about Drake, we talk about the whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing, but I'm sorry. Chalk Claire, Maestro Fresh West, Cardinal Official.
Yep.
They have been talking about Toronto way before Aubrey Graham. No disrespect, Drake, if you're watching. I don't want to get in trouble with you, Aubrey. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Shout out to Drake. Drake has put us a little bit on the map and did his thing. But Carlos Morgan, Chalk Claire, Cardinal Official, there's been a lot of Canadians that have been putting a spotlight on Toronto, not Toronto, Toronto, way before Aubrey Graham. Right. What are your thoughts about that song with you, Chalk Claire?
Well, that was actually Chalk Claire and Richie Sosa. Richie Sosa was a young, up-and-coming, brand new hip-hop artist at the time. And I heard him, I'm like, man, I got to get this guy on. And Chalk Claire and I came out around the same time in 96, 97. So I reached out to him and I said, yo, I'm writing this song called Hey O.T.O. And it was, again, at that time, everybody was like, Toronto was like, this was 2008, 9, 10, around that time. Everybody was like, Toronto. No, sorry. Toronto, 2006, 7, 8, 9. And everybody was like, Toronto. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to get on the Toronto bandwagon and write a song. So I wrote the song with a guy named myself, Colin Monroe, Rich. I can't remember his last name now, but he was one of the songwriters in Teddy Riley's camp. He's actually written songs for Blackstreet. And so I reached out to him, Colin Monroe, myself. I reached out to Chalk Claire, And I said, okay, because they produced a song, like Colin had the beat ready. Rich wrote the first song, verse. I wrote the second verse and the chorus and the bridge. Called Shy Wisdom to get the female vibe in there. Then called Shaw Claire and then said, okay, Shaw Claire, this is the vibe. He came in and laid it out. Richie Sosa came in and laid it out. And it was like, you know, and then I tried to, and this is the politics. I was trying so hard to get some support, like to see if I get the song on like a Toronto anthem or get some people to, hey, OTO. And it was like, no one would give me the time of day because it's like, and I'm like, I just want a Juno. I'm like, I'm a Juno winner. And I'm not getting any time of day. So it's like, okay. But I still like the song, man. I haven't heard that song in a while. So thank you for playing that, man.
I play that song all the time, Carlos. Again, I go to Blue Jay games a million times a year, every season. They play that one Cardinal official song that shouts out Toronto.
Right.
The name is escaping me right now, but they always play that one song that Cardi shouts out Toronto. But I'm telling you, Hey OTO, that should be a song that the Toronto Blue Jays, take one right now. Toronto Blue Jays, if you're watching this, you have Carlos Morgan right here. Toronto Blue Jays, Hey OTO needs to be played during the Blue Jays game.
It's like, hey OTO. It's like a great anthem. Even just that, hey OTO. Like, come on, like, you know, you're at the baseball game, the hockey game, the Raptors game. Hey OTO, hey OTO. And it's like, no one, like, jeez.
So we're gonna clip this part right here. Carlos, talk to the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays organization are watching this right now. Yeah. What's your message? This season's coming out. The Blue Jays season's coming out this summer.
Yeah.
Tell the Blue Jays why they should play Hey OTO this summer.
If you guys, okay, the Blue Jays haven't won the World Series since 1993. If you guys want to win, play Hey OTO. Hey OTO. Right? Just like, hey, come at them. Like, hey OTO. I get the whole crowd going, hey OTO. So when the opposing team goes up to bat, they just think this hey OTO. They just can't. And we win the game. If they just play hey OTO, I just bum 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 dun 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 OTO dun 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 dun. Man, I'm telling you, you got 50,000 people going hey OTO dun dun dun. Man, please, that. So Blue Jays, Leafs, the Raptors, the soccer team, get that. I'll even come out and sing it for y'all free. Just get everybody going, hell, Tio. Man, I tried to meet people in the Raptors organization to be like, I got this song. Even with Just Jane, I was trying to push Just Jane to like a breast cancer foundation. And I'm like, but again, it's politics about who you know and all that other foolishness. And I just don't play politics. But I'm like, here's a song that people could use for like an anthem. Right? So, but if you know anybody, be like, yo, it's old, but yo, you could just hey, OTO, just hasn't been a Toronto anthem in years. Right? So, although that song came out in 2012, but I think it's just hey OTO, like, man, come on, man.
It just rolls off your tongue. Like, I mean, as much as they always play that, again, I'm saying this carefully, no disrespect to Cardinal Official. I love Cardinal Official. And they play that one song. But the thing is, I can't even think of the name of the song. But they play it all the time at the Jays games. But Hey OTO, I know that title right away.
Exactly. And it's easy. It's like, in the T dot to the O dot, turn it up to your speakers, pop. Hey, in your drop top, don't stop, just let it knock. At the club or in the crib. Want to hear you rep where you live. All my ladies say, all my fellas say. That's, in the T dot to the O dot, turn it up to your speakers, pop. Hell, man, when you go to you see those, when you go to the baseball game or the soccer games or the hockey games, and everybody's waving their flags or everything. You just get the flag, hey-o, T-O, and everybody just doing, hey-o, T-O, he scores! You know,
Carlos, we've done a 2.5 hour interview, Carlos. I apologize.
no, don't apologize. I love it, man. Love it.
So I'm going to give you the last word, the last say. First of all, before I give you the last word, Carlos, I mean, again, I love you as a fan. I love you as a friend. I appreciate you so much for you doing this interview with me, and helping me out with, interviewing respected people like yourself. I'm giving you the final say here. What would you like to say to the world right now? Thank you.
Well, first, I want to thank you, and I love you, my friend. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview me and talk about music, talk about my music history, to speak to your audience, and for your audience. I appreciate y'all for taking the time to come and hear and listen to Trevor and I talk about my music and about my career. And thank you to everyone who's supported or who's supporting my music and will download it, check out the music videos. Really appreciate y'all. And again, to you, Trevor, man, thank you so much, man. You're the best, man. Thank you. And let's keep loving each other, man. Let's keep supporting one another. Please keep supporting Trevor and his podcast and what he's doing here, highlighting and interviewing many people in Canada that's representing various sectors of different aspects of life, if you will. Keep supporting Trevor, man, because what you're doing, Trevor, is a wonderful thing here. And to everybody, as I said, let's keep loving one another, and figure out, because life is getting crazy out here, as we're seeing. So we got to figure out a way how we could move past all the craziness that's happening and figure out how we could see each other as human beings and live in peace and harmony. And even if we have different beliefs or feelings, ideologies, or whatever they are, at the end of the day, we may not always agree, and we may have different feelings and opinions on things. However, if we could learn to respect one another, even if we disagree with one another, but we can respect one another, and that's what I pray for. And sending peace and love to each and every one of you, and whether you believe or not, sending asking God and Jesus Christ to bless and protect each and every one of y'all with love.
Carlos, man, I can't thank you enough for sharing that, but for doing this interview. Again, 2.5 hours just flew by. It felt like 10 minutes to me. I have there's 100 more songs I wouldn't mind getting your opinion on. There's 105 more questions I could ask you. I feel like I and the crowd will demand an encore interview down the road.
I love it, man. Let me know, man. I had a great time. I had a great time. So, as I said to you when we talked earlier yesterday, that we can go as long as you want, man. I appreciate it, man, because I haven't done an interview like this. I don't think I did any interviews like this even last year. So it's been a long time. So I really appreciate this, man.
Well, because it's frustrating for me, like when I watch, when you watch a talk show, like a Tonight Show, or like and like an artist will come out and they speak for like 3 to 7 minutes. They might share a cute little story and then they plug their concert or movie. I want to get in deep. I want to learn about the person. I want to be able to brag about your music. I want to let it breathe. I don't want to, if anything, it bothered me. I only played 45 seconds of some of these songs, right? If it was up to me, I would do a 5-hour interview. It's just I want to get in deep. I want the people to learn about you. I want people to learn about your music. I think during this interview, we had about 4 or 5 people shout out that they added your music to their Spotify list. I had a person say they want to come to your next concert. So I can't thank you enough for this opportunity. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you too. And thanks to the 25.9. Wow. 25.9, man. That's still good. That's still great, man. So that's positive.
I mean, I'm a fighter. I wanted to get to 50K, but you know, it is a Friday night. We want to be. It is Friday night, and we're battling with a Friday night. People had a hard week, but I know they're gonna. Maybe they didn't see it live, but I know my YouTube and channel is gonna blow up because they're gonna watch the re-record of this interview. So again, I thank you. There, like I mean, JJ3 was there pretty much, if not at the start, pretty close to the start of the interview.
Yeah. Thank you, JJ3, and thank you, Anna. Natural Hairstyles.
You had a diehard fan that was writing in caps earlier. Walk 'em down said Carlos Morgan. Oh my God, I'm a huge fan. Meeting Carlos Morgan is bigger than any other celebrity that I've met. Wow. Trevor, please tell him about me. Carlos, can I have an autograph? So you were getting feedback, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow. But you know, JJ3, we thank you for watching from the start. I think my friend Natalie was in here, in and out, back and forth. Natalie is a singer. A lot of my friends and acquaintances are singers, up and comers. So I know they were watching this interview like they were going to a church sermon, like they wanted to learn from you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, man. And yeah, and to Amber, I think it was Amber Rain was another one.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Thank you, Amber Rain, too. So I'm really grateful for, and all the positive comments and the questions y'all asked. Appreciate that, too. And again, so I'll be confirming, God willing, by the 14th, about Saturday, April 19th. I'll be posting it. I'll again send it to you, Trevor. Saturday, April 19th, the Donald and Danforth. It's a beautiful spot. I can't remember the exact address right now, but it's in the Don, Main and Danforth area. Again, it's going to be a dinner show, so it's going to be a full course meal, starting at 6 till about 8. Then show starts at 8:30 till 11. I'll be doing 2 1-hour sets with my full band, and so that will be my first official concert. And then I'll be doing some keynote speaking around. And again, if there's anybody that is looking for a vocal coach, I teach at a school. I teach at the North Toronto Institute of Music, which is at 3300 Yonge Street, and also the Toronto Alliance Music, which is at I can't remember the exact address, but it's in Oakwood and Eglinton area. And I also teach online. So if anybody's looking for a vocal coach who wants to understand more the techniques of singing, whether you're beginner, intermediate, or professional or advanced, reach out to me on my email, carlosmorganmusic@hotmail.com. I love coaching. I'm learning more about the voice and understanding more of the voice, the chest, mix, and head voice. And so, so anybody looking for a vocal coach, reach out to me as well.
Carlos, I could talk to you all night, honestly. You're awesome. I appreciate your time. And I think you got a whole bunch of coffee sitting in your TikTok purse. You look on the top left there. You got a lot of gifts during this interview.
Woo-wee! I can't wait. Man.
I don't know if you saw a lot during our rehearsal when you logged off. If you look in your settings or whatever, you should see some gifts, and it converts to money. Like it might be $6, but it's some coffees there, Carlos.
Well, I'm gonna check it out. Now you see, I've only been on TikTok for a year, so I'm still becoming familiar with how this whole TikTok world works. So where would I go to find out, or to see on the app, where to find out what the points are, how this thing works?
Yeah, so I mean, after this live is done, when you go to sort of your home screen, your inbox, your studio, so to speak, there's, for lack of better words, like a purse.
Oh, I see.
And you'll see that you've accumulated a certain amount of coins and gifts. And like during the interview, people were giving you ice cream cones and all these little things. But that all converts into 10 cents, 70 cents, $1. So I'm not saying we're both millionaires after this interview, but you know, we could both have a coffee at McDonald's.
Yeah, man. I'm down for that. Okay. Thanks so much to everybody who gave me the gifts. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you. That's so kind, man. Wow.
All right, Carlos. We're done. I appreciate your time. Thank you for giving me like 2.5 hours of your time.
Oh, that's all good.
Again, those that kind of came in and out, and because you know life happens, I get it.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the recorded full version, including my feedback of what I should wear for our guests. That will all go on our YouTube channel.
You look good too,
I'll put
man.
it on my YouTube channel, and if Carlos, I'll send it to you if you want to put it on your channel. But either way, we're gonna get it on the channel so people can see the recorded version. We'll also clip it up because Carlos gave you guys some knowledge during his interview. So there are certain questions that for sure we need to clip and share it on Instagram and on TikTok and on Facebook and on X, and we're gonna clip it up. But full version will be on YouTube, and we'll make smaller clips and we'll put it everywhere. But Carlos, man, thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And again, thanks to everyone who listened, and really, really appreciate y'all. All the best and love to each and every one of y'all, man.
All right, thank you, Carlos. Good night, everyone.
Peace, y'all.